Hello everyone. Welcome to today's story. Will James be able to reach Diep after all the struggles they've faced? From a past filled with pain and regrets to the uncertain future that lies ahead, their journey is one full of choices, love, and hope. Stick with us to see if their love survives the test of time and obstacles. And if you're enjoying the story, don't forget to subscribe. Let's hit 1,000 followers together. Diep stood by the window, the soft morning light gently pouring through the trees. She stared out, lost in the memories of the past, as if she could see the farm she once called home. The old house, the wide expanse of land, and the familiar animals. Everything seemed to wait for her return. "I miss it so much, Miss Hackey. Miss the chickens and ducks I raised," she whispered, her voice barely above a murmur. It was a voice full of nostalgia and longing, soft as the breeze that whispered through the trees. James stood beside her, his presence steady and calm, watching her with understanding in his eyes. He didn't say anything. His silence was a comfort, a reassurance that he was there, always. He knew that what Diep was feeling was not easy, and that her heart was torn between the present with him and the past she had left behind. But in the quiet, he also understood that love wasn't about choosing between two worlds. It was about the connection they shared in the moments, in the here and now. "I want you to stay with me, Diep," James said, his voice gentle yet firm. "But if you need to go back, I understand. It's your choice." His words hung in the air, full of sincerity and acceptance. Diep turned to face him, the warmth in his eyes making her heart ache. She stood there, her heart caught between two lives, unsure of which path to take. Could she move forward, with James by her side, without losing the memories of what once was? Diep's heart was torn. The quiet moments with James felt like an anchor to the present, but the distant pull of the farm, of Hackey, tugged at her like a whisper in the wind. She sat at the worn wooden table, staring at her hands, her thoughts scattered. The air around them was still, and outside the birds seemed to sing louder, almost as if they too were waiting for her to decide. James watched her, sensing her turmoil, but he said nothing. He knew she was struggling to reconcile her past with their future, to bridge the gap between what she had known and what they could build together. "I can't help but feel like I'm leaving something behind," Diep finally spoke, her voice quiet but heavy with emotion. "I feel like a part of me is still there, with the animals, with Hackey. That life, those memories, are a part of me." James nodded, understanding that the pull of the past was strong. "I know," he said softly, "but you also have a life here with me, and whatever you choose, I will be by your side." Her eyes met his, a flicker of vulnerability in them. Diep's heart wavered, torn between her love for James and the life she had left behind. She looked out the window once more, the wind stirring the branches of the trees, as if nature itself was urging her to move forward. But her mind remained conflicted. The silence was heavy, but it was also necessary, a space where decisions were made not in haste, but in the quiet acceptance of what truly mattered. As the day wore on, the weight of Diep's decision began to lift, but only slightly. The evening light cast a soft glow over everything, as if the world itself was holding its breath, waiting. Diep and James worked side by side, tending to the farm, fixing the fence, and cleaning the stable. It wasn't glamorous or exciting, but there was something deeply fulfilling in it, an unspoken bond between them that grew stronger with each shared task. Diep found herself looking at James more often than she had before. His presence, once a comforting but distant constant, now felt like a quiet promise. She saw the way he moved, the ease with which he worked, and the quiet care he took in every action. There was a gentleness in his touch when he passed her the rake, the way his eyes softened when she caught his gaze. James was the present she had never truly known she needed, and in the simplicity of their shared moments she began to see a future. One filled not with grand dreams or wild adventures, but with peace, love, and a sense of belonging. The past would always be a part of her, but it didn't have to define her future. That night, as they sat together on the porch, the evening air cool around them, James finally spoke again, his voice low but steady. "Diep, I know you've been struggling with everything, and I want you to know that whatever decision you make, I'm here. But I also want to ask you, will you marry me? Will you make this life with me here, with all that we have?" Diep's breath caught in her chest. The words hung in the air between them, not as a request, but as a promise of shared futures, of quiet lives intertwined. Her heart swelled, the hesitation from earlier dissolving into something more certain. "Yes, James," she whispered, a soft smile breaking across her face. Yes. The days that followed were filled with quiet determination. Diep and James worked together, side by side, as they made their home in the old, familiar space. The tasks seemed simple, but in their simplicity they revealed the deep bond that was forming between them. The farm, once a symbol of what was lost, began to feel like a place of hope, a place where new memories could be made. They spent mornings cleaning the garden, afternoons fixing broken fences, and evenings sitting on the porch, watching the sunset as they shared stories and dreams. James made it clear that his love for Diep wasn't just about the life they had now, but about the future they could create together, no matter the challenges they might face. One afternoon, as they were working together in the garden, Diep paused and looked at James. He was bent over pulling weeds, his brow furrowed in concentration. In that moment, something inside her shifted. An overwhelming sense of peace washed over her. She knew, without a doubt, that she had made the right choice. "I've never been this sure about anything in my life," she said, her voice carrying the weight of everything she had been feeling. "Not about the farm, not about my past, but now, with you. This is where I belong." James straightened up, meeting her gaze. His eyes softened, and a smile tugged at the corners of his lips. "Then we'll make this place our own, Diep. We'll build the life you deserve." That night, after a long day of work, they sat down to dinner, the simplicity of the meal making everything feel complete. Diep looked at the worn table, the familiar surroundings, and felt a profound sense of gratitude. This was her life now. Not one filled with grand expectations or dreams of escape, but one filled with love, laughter, and quiet moments of contentment. The days grew warmer, the sunlight spilling more generously over the land they had come to cherish. Yet, as Diep moved forward with James, a part of her heart still lingered on the farm, clinging to the memories of Haki, the loyal animal that had once been her companion. She missed him with a quiet ache. Haki had been a symbol of simpler times, a reminder of everything she had left behind. One afternoon, after finishing their chores, Diep wandered through the fields, her eyes scanning the familiar sights in search of Haki. The farm felt quieter now, without his playful bark or the rustle of his paws in the underbrush. "Where did you go, Hockey?" she whispered, as if the wind itself might carry her words to him. James noticed her distant gaze as he approached, wiping the sweat from his brow. "Diep, he'll come back. You know he will," he said, his voice steady, though there was an underlying sadness in his eyes. He had watched Diep struggle with this absence, but he had also seen the resilience in her, the way she held on to hope even in the face of uncertainty. "I miss him so much," Diep replied softly, her voice catching in her throat. "It's like a piece of me is missing." James reached out, his hand gently resting on her shoulder. "I know," he said, "but love isn't just about having something or someone. It's about remembering them, carrying them with you. And you've carried Hockey with you every day. You've kept him alive in your heart." Diep turned to face him, her eyes welling with unshed tears. The weight of her grief, of the things she had lost, had been pressing on her for so long. But in James's words, she found solace. She realized that love wasn't just the act of holding on. It was also about letting go when the time came. She still held Hockey in her heart, but now she had room for something new, something that James had given her: peace. As the days passed, Diep began to understand the depth of the life she had chosen. The farm, though still weathered and worn, had become a place of quiet beauty. With James by her side, she started to see it not as a reminder of what had been lost, but as a canvas for what they could create together. The once neglected garden flourished under their care, the vegetable patches now brimming with life. They worked side by side, with no need for grand gestures, just small, steady actions that spoke of a shared future. One evening, as they sat together on the porch, watching the sun dip below the horizon, Diep felt a sense of contentment wash over her that she hadn't known in years. The air was cool, the cicadas chirping in the distance, and everything felt perfectly still. In that moment, she realized that the life she had longed for wasn't one of constant excitement or adventure. It was this: simple, quiet, and full of love. James, noticing her peaceful expression, leaned over and kissed her forehead. "We've come a long way, haven't we?" he said, his voice soft. "From the struggles we've faced to where we are now, I think we've found something real." Diep nodded, her heart full. "I used to think that happiness was somewhere far away, something I had to chase," she said. "But now I know it's here with you. It's in these little moments." James smiled, his eyes reflecting the same quiet joy she felt. "It's not about the big moments, Diep. It's about the ones we make together. And I'm grateful for every single one of them." As the night grew darker, they sat in silence, each wrapped in the comfort of the other's presence. The past was still there, a part of them, but it no longer held the power to dictate their future. Together, they were building something new, something full of quiet love, simple moments, and the unspoken understanding that they were enough, just as they were. The first light of dawn broke softly across the horizon, painting the sky in hues of lavender and gold. Diep stood by the window once again, but this time she wasn't looking back. She was looking forward. The landscape outside had changed, but it no longer felt like a foreign place. It had become her home, a home she had built not just with her hands, but with her heart. James entered the room quietly, his presence a gentle comfort as he stood beside her, looking out over the land they had nurtured together. "We've done it, haven't we?" he murmured, his voice soft with pride. Diep turned to him, her eyes reflecting a peace she hadn't known before. "Yes," she whispered, her voice filled with the weight of everything they had gone through. "We have, and it feels right, James. It feels like home." They had started this journey uncertain, torn between the past and the future. But now, as they stood together in the morning light, Diep realized that love wasn't about choosing between the two. It was about merging them, taking the lessons of the past and weaving them into the fabric of the present, creating something stronger, something lasting. James took her hand in his grip firm and reassuring. "This is just the beginning, Diep," he said. "There will still be challenges, still moments of doubt, but we face them together, every step of the way." Diep squeezed his hand, her heart swelling with gratitude. For the first time in a long time, she felt like she was truly living, no longer haunted by the past, no longer running from what she had lost. She was embracing the life she had now with James by her side. "I know, James. I'm ready. I'm ready for whatever comes next," Diep said, her voice steady, filled with a quiet confidence. The sun rose higher, bathing the farm in its golden light. It was a new day, and with it, a new chapter for Diep and James. A chapter that would be written not with grand gestures, but with the small, meaningful moments that spoke of love, resilience, and the promise of tomorrow.
Câu chuyện xoay quanh Diệp, người đang vật lộn giữa quá khứ đầy đau buồn về hiện tại với James sau khi trở về trang trại. Cô vừa về nhưng ngày xưa bên Haki và những con vật, nhưng đồng thời cũng cảm nhận được tình yêu từ James. Mặc dù có sự phân vân, cuối cùng Diệp nhận ra rằng tình yêu không chỉ là ký ức mà còn là sự lựa chọn. Hiện tại, sau nhiều thử thách và cảm xúc bận rộn, James cầu hôn Diệp và cô đồng ý quyết định xây dựng một tương lai bình yên bên họ. Họ cùng nhau dọn dẹp trang trại, chăm sóc gia súc, tìm thấy sự an ủi trong tình yêu, chấp nhận một cuộc sống giản dị nhưng đầy hạnh phúc.